A boxing specialist with several accolades in the regional scene, Alan Balayev is ready to make a splash in the bantamweight division as he takes on Vadim Pavlikov, who has extensive amateur experience with titles and an undefeated record to his name. Coming up next, Alan Balayev faces Vadim Pavlikov in a bantamweight bout.
Here we go, Brave Nation. This bout is 3 5-minute rounds in the bantamweight division. Introducing your first warrior. Fighting out of the blue corner, this man's a mixed martial artist with a perfect professional record of 1 win and no losses. He stands 185 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 61.65 kilograms. Representing Sharyukia team and fighting out of Rostov-on-Don, Russia. Please welcome Vadim Pavlikov. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This man's a mixed martial artist with a perfect professional record of 1 win and no losses. He stands 174 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 61.65 kilograms. Representing Veles Gym and fighting out of Vladikavkaz, Russia. Give it up for Alan Balayev. Your referee is Yevgeny Olensevich.
Phil, we've got Vadim Pavlikov in black, Alan Balayev in white. Both of them are kitted out in Green Hill, in my opinion, the finest combat sports apparel on the planet.
You can see from the tape, Vadim Pavlikov at the distinct advantage. Everything else virtually identical. Here we go, a little bit of show respect to these young fighters. Big overhand straight away, but then gets caught with a counter hook from Vadim. Oh, and lands a beautiful straight right down the pipe. Dives into the closed guard now of Vadim Pavlikov. And I'm sure at this stage, playing a little bit of rubber guard as Pavlikov, using those long limbs, but at such a young age, he's going to have to take a deep breath now, reassess, and really see where he's at in this fight, Kieran.
He is. Right now, he's in essentially a defensive guard, which I think is where he wants to be. Needs to clear his head, come up with a little bit of a different game plan, because his first one didn't work.
Nice framing off from Balayev, but he needs to follow those hips. He can't let Pavlikov create those angles, throw up those long legs, for the legs of a triangle. Beautiful elbows from Alan here in that top position.
Phil, this is the difference between the pros and the amateurs. You can have an extensive amateur career, you can be very used to the sport at that level, but when those elbows come down, it is a whole new world.
He's really so young at 18 years old. Pavlikov has that flexibility and dexterity. Someone like me at 33 years old can't get away with playing rubber guard. Let's see what Balayev's trying to do. Frame off, crash that elbow right into the cranium of his opponent. Nice, consistent, persistent top pressure here from Balayev. But what does Vadim Pavlikov need to do as the man on the bottom?
He needs to stand. He needs to create a little, he needs to get that foot on the hip, and he needs to try and stand so he can get back up to standing and then take his opponent
the
down.
arm bar.
Having said that.
Oh, and rolls it. That looks tight. He's got the hips into it. Beautiful escape, but escape and rolls right into the triangle. What a change in fortune this could be.
Still,
if
I think that's
get the
it.
angle.
I do not see an escape from here. Let's see if that leg gets underhooked.
If he underhooks that leg, it's essentially game over, but crashing elbows. That leg is there to be underhooked. And has he got it again? Cinching up that triangle.
He's looking for the armbar as well.
Oh, triangle armbar combination. This looks tight. Referee taking a long, hard look at this. Pavlikov taking everything he can into it. Tightens up that triangle, but again, readjusts. Perhaps showing a little bit of youthful naivety there by not underhooking the leg, Kieran. Just cutting that angle so tight. Now if he underhooks that leg, he gets so much more pressure. Triangle armbar, but Balayev staying in.
Oh, Bill, how tough is he? He's Russia tough.
Wow, Alan Balayev with some serious staying power. Then if you look into the corner of Balayev, who's that in his corner, Kieran?
I believe we're looking at the great Master K.
That's bound to give you confidence if you have Master K in your corner and strike fear into the heart of your opponent too. You have to wonder, what about the cardio situation now? Has Pavlikov put everything into those submission attempts?
It's not just the physical side of it. There's also the mental side of it. When you get very, very close to submission and you think you've won, if you don't stay in control of your emotions, there can be a huge crash afterwards.
Balaev needs to be smart now. He's been in those precarious positions due to the submission offense of Pavlikov, so he needs to square off the hips every opportunity.
Looking for an ninja choke, denied.
Balaev needs to be wary of having that arm out. You see the wrist control grip there of Pavlikov. May open the guard, switch the hips and try and throw up that armbar again. But then also on the flip side of that, Kirk, you have to wonder if the arm of Balaev has been compromised by these armbar attempts.
Ordinarily, with a fighter a little further in his career, 28, 29, I think it might, given the youth of these fighters, I think that elbow's probably okay.
Just how dangerous he is throwing those hips up. That's an elbow for his trouble. Big ground and pound being landed by Balaev. Pavlikov trying to stay active, opening the guard, trying to create angles for himself, but Balaev again, after that early scare, is going to be watching his P's and Q's when it comes to his jiu-jitsu.
Less than a minute to go in this great round, Brave Nation.
That has absolutely flown in. Feet on the hip now. This Pavlikov again goes back to that closed guard position, trying to overhook an arm and pull that head down. Nice work from Balaev there to be aware of the submission threat. But right now he needs to square those hips off a little bit more for my liking. Posturing up on a knee shield in momentarily from Pavlikov. Trying to grab wrist control, perhaps trying to stuff an arm down. Potential triangle here in the closing stanzas. I'm enjoying those little pot shot elbows we see from Balaev, Kirk. Very, very intelligent work.
Very intelligent and very unusual for a fighter so green.
May try and land one big shot over the top to do something definitive in the round.
Round ends. Absolutely phenomenal round for Vadim. Phil, we've seen
the submission threat from Vadim Pavlikov.
Absolutely, and there we saw that devastating strike that put his opponent on the ground. That right there is what he needs to do more of, but he's not going to do it when he's inside his opponent's guard.
You think now after that first round he's going to be aware that he has the power in his hands, maybe not be as frenetic to dive into the guard, but attempted the hitchhiker escape there to come out the back, landed in that triangle. He's going to try and find that range, try and pump out that jab, make something happen. Again, another show of respect from these two young, hungry fighters. Big front kick. This is not Sparta. This is Rostov-on-Don. Big winging shots here from Balaev, trying to end the fight early. Jumping knee attempt from Pavlikov. And interestingly, it's Alan Balaev that gets in on the takedown.
A double leg on the grappler is not what I expected in this bout, but we are in Russia where everybody can fight in every way there is.
Nice tie clinch attempted there from Pavlikov. Balaev now pressed up against the fence, and Vadim has him exactly where he wants him, right in front of his corner. Again, beautiful frame off elbows. Nice work from Balaev to get out, and right now, it's Vadim Pavlikov that looks like the fresher fighter. Big knee landed. Pressing Balaev up against the cage, and these knees are landing out well. He can't absorb too many more of these. And an elbow. This could be the beginning of the end.
Referee's on top of it.
And how tough is Alan Balaev in the first? What a pace these guys are setting for the rest of the show.
Oh, liver shot.
Big slip and rip to the body. Nice work on the jab. And again, a huge knee. Alan Balaev just taking these shots. This is not sustainable for a career in martial arts. If you're Vadim Pavlikov, you must be wondering, what do I have to hit Balaev with? Literally putting his heart, soul, everything into the strikes he's throwing here, Kerry.
Pavlikov may have gotten hit clean. He may have thrown a little bit too much. He's looking a little bit compromised physically.
If anything, Balaev looks like he's absorbed those power shots and it's given him a little bit of power. Scores a beautiful takedown, but how do you even begin to break down this fight? Close guard here, Pavlikov. Trying to create the angle for himself, has that knee shield in. Balaev needs to be very, very careful here, progresses into the side control position.
Be very interesting to see if he tries to get all the way to top side or if he's comfortable staying in top half guard. Given the skills of the opponent, I think he wants to try and get all the way to side control.
A lot of fighters are happy to sit in this anchor position and land big shots just like that elbow, but the danger is that your opponent can reclaim guard a little bit more easily, just as Pavlikov has done. Guard is open right now. Be ready for a potential switch in the hips from Pavlikov. Balayev just maybe trying to get a little bit of his composure back in this position, Kieran.
Vadim Pavlikov has a very entertaining,
watch out.
very aggressive guard.
Again, has that wrist control, trying to stuff that arm down between his legs and throw his own leg up.
For guillotine now.
Balayev has the potential.
May turn into a sweep and may go right back to the guillotine.
Again, both of these gentlemen have expended a lot of energy. There's bound to be an almost insurmountable degree of lactic acid built up in those muscles.
Key lock attempt.
Balayev needs to be wary here of just how dangerous this guard is. Potential for a triangle here. Pavlikov trying to loop that arm up. Elbows from the bottom there from Pavlikov. But Pavlikov, for the most part here, he can't afford to be on his back. He can't finish another round on his back, Kerry. What would you be telling him if you're in the corner right now?
I don't know the judges here. If I did, I might be able to tell you. A lot of judges penalize a fighter on his back, but some of them recognize effective aggression when they see it. They recognize good striking from the bottom. They recognize submission attempts as having the potential to cause damage. Right now, he is, having said that, he is leaving in the hands of the judges, and that's not ordinarily what you want to do in mixed martial arts.
Into the final minute of the second round here. Again, Alan Balayev on top, landing big shots, framing off beautifully. Pavlikov looked momentarily a little bit despondent there. Balayev finishing the round very strong, passing into side control. And again, what a way for Alan Balayev to finish the round, Kieran.
It's exactly what I thought he should do. It was a little fight for an underhook. It appears 100% as if Balayev is going to be able to maintain that top side control. If he can land a couple of shots, it may count hugely in the judges' assessment of this round.
So even if he's not necessarily landing incredible damage, what he's doing is, in the eyes of the judges, finishing in the dominant top position.
On the mat, the other one's going to stay standing. Absolutely unbelievable conditioning. And speaking of unbelievable, Phil, walk us through this Green Hill replay.
Massive front kick to open up, but then Balayev just absolutely putting everything into these shots, firing off a beautiful jab. And here we'd see him, like, that's the type of shot would drop most fighters. What he was able to do was absorb serious punishment, which not only tires out your opponent, but psychologically, he has to be wondering what else he has to do to get the edge.
Third and final round, Brave Nation. Fighters embrace. Showing the sportsmanship that is characteristic of the Brave Cage, and now we're going to get the action. That's characteristic of the Brave Cage.
Again, big winging, looping shots from the man with the boxing background, and parlays that into the double leg attempt. Pavlikov trying to hit the switch here, creating a little bit of distance, pushing the hip of his opponent away. As the hands connected underneath the backside, we could be seeing the takedown. Beautiful switch attempt there from Pavlikov. Heavy hips on the sprawl. Such a draining position, and now in a 50-50, but Vadim comes out the back.
One hook attempt. If we get a situation with two hooks in, I do believe that'll be the end of the night for this fight.
I'm sensing a lot of urgency on the part of the corner of Vadim Pavlikov, trying to get those long limbs around his opponent. Potential to switch to a body triangle here instead of trying to get the hooks in if he wants.
Particularly given his long legs, Phil, I think he's got a frame that's made for that body triangle.
Now landing big shots. There's one hook in if he can just maneuver ever so slightly, doesn't quite have it.
Alan very intelligently keeping his hips very tight against that cage, so there's no space for that second hook to go in.
Nice wrist control work from Pavlikov there.
Pavlikov is now he's trying to pull his opponent away from that fence to make space to get that second hook in. If he can, as I said, could be the end.
Nice elbow there from, oh, he's underneath the chin, but he didn't have hooks there. Nice work from Balaev to use that underhook on the leg to get up and then transition into the single. Vadim doing the right thing by trying to push the head down, but Balaev is just so insistent with, when he has something in his mind, he is so insistent with it. We've seen that. Trying to kick the leg out of his opponent. Good balance from Vadim Pavlikov. Very back and forth here in the third and final round of the opening bout here in Rostov-on-Don, Russia. Beautiful elbows. And he may have hurt him there, Kirik. Pavlikov trying to sneak in that Dagestani handcuff, but Balaev cannot be denied, cannot be held down.
Neither fighter can. There is nothing like the determination of a Russian athlete and nothing like those two determinations going head-to-head.
And after this kind of a fight, it's just, as much as we've been treated to incredible mixed martial arts, it's such a shame that someone's going to have to take a loss away from this.
Both fighters are going to walk away with here, head held high, full of pride. This is a tremendous fight for fighters this early in their career.
2 minutes left to go here, and again it's Vadim Pavlikov trying to take the back, imposing his will on Balaev. But Balaev constantly trying to turn defense into offense here. A little bit of separation.
There we go!
And this is exactly where Balaev wants the fight. He wants to land that one big hitter quitter over the top. And
again, Phil, I think getting into those hips is not a wise move. He's had great success in this fight with that big right, with a looping left. I'd love to see just a little more of it before time runs out in about 70 seconds.
Now, as I say, is that perhaps a little bit of youthful inexperience on the part of Balaev? Because that is something we see quite common in amateur mixed martial arts, the strikes to get in on the takedowns.
Youthful inexperience, and I think heart. I think it's also a sign of great heart. He wants to show he's a proud fighter. He wants to show he can beat him everywhere.
Oh, no,
but I don't think he's going to beat him on the ground.
This would be disastrous. Choking to his corner. He wasn't paying attention. Oh, and what a turn of events, reminding me of what happened in Japan many years ago. Can't remember who it was, but Shinya Aoki was the guy who implemented the choke. The guy said, "Hi, Japan," got choked, and there was a little bit of... Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're seeing the choke. If possible, I'd love to see just a little bit before the choke was put in.
That is tight. That is sunk. That is all over.
Again, it was that moment where perhaps the inexperience showed, where he heard his corner say something instead of just absorbing.
All right, Brave Nation, what a way to start our night. This bout comes to an end at 3 minutes and 56 seconds of the third round. Your winner by rear naked choke, Vadim Pavlikov.
As I say, incredible. We're going to get a look at the action, and this was in the very opening stanza. As I say, I'd love to see the finish play out from the very beginning of the sequence, but round one was all about the striking of Balaev and the submission attempts, the armbar to the triangle from Vadim Pavlikov. Second round, Balaev just absorbing an insurmountable amount of strikes. Not necessarily the best defense for mixed martial arts, using your face as a way to defend. And again, we're seeing the choke as it's in, but a little bit earlier would be great if possible.
And Phil, that choke is nasty. The rear naked choke can be applied to the carotid artery or could be applied directly to the trachea, as we saw here. That trachea version is even more painful.
How frustrating is that going to be for Balaev in a really competitive?
One of Rostov-on-Don's finest young stars, Ahmed Amarov, is eager to make an impact in his professional debut, as he takes on Albert Malakurbanov, who hopes to use his strong wrestling background to take home his first international victory. Coming up next, Ahmed Amarov meets Albert Malakurbanov in a featherweight bout.
Brave Nation, this bout is 3 5-minute rounds in a catchweight bout of 67 kilograms. Introducing your first warrior. Fighting out of the blue corner, this man's a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 3 wins and 1 loss. He stands 173 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 66.85 kilograms. Representing Rostov Fighters and fighting out of Rostov-on-Don, Russia, please welcome Albert Malakarbanov. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, this man is a mixed martial artist making his professional debut. He stands 178 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 66.8 kilograms. Representing Peresvet Fight Team and fighting out of Rostov-on-Don, Russia, give it up for Ahmed Omarov. Your referee is Yevgeny Olensevich.
Ahmed Omarov in white, Albert Malakorbanov in black.
Allegedly, Ahmed Omarov with the height advantage. By looking at them here, I'm not really seeing that. Someone's going to have to get the tape measure out again. Oh no, I see it now. But that's going to mean that Albert Malakorbanov can scoot underneath the hips of his opponent. The first shot is going to be incredibly telling in this fight. But as we see sometimes with 2 elite level grapplers of wrestlers, the fight turns into a striking matchup. Every fight does start standing. Big kick landed early from Ahmed Omarov. Big spinning kick from Malakorbanov. I think he shocked his opponent there. He's underneath the backside. I'm not quite sure if he has the hands connected. Good defense against the cage being exhibited here by Omarov.
Malakorbanov trying to use that cage like a cheese grater, try and force his opponent right straight through it.
And on the single, good heavy hips, but just what insistent pressure. Turns the corner beautifully, does Malakorbanov, but pops up and then taken down again. Try and slip a hook in here. Could see a big elevation if Malakorbanov wants to exhibit or exert a little bit of energy. And Kieran, if anything, this speaks to just how supremely well conditioned both these fighters are, because this is the most grueling aspect of mixed martial arts.
Well conditioned, Phil, and also extremely well trained, showing the ability to not just to wrestle extremely well, not just to wrestle at a high level, but also to mix in the strikes seemingly effortlessly.
At the minute, Malakorbanov is like white on rice, just sticking to Omarov. Nice little pot shot, knees landed by Omarov. Right now, it's kind of the concept of what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, but again, Malakorbanov separates ever so slightly just to beat Ahmed Omarov into planting the feet and then shoots in for the takedown again.
Omarov's got the grip he wants. He's got a figure 4 now. He's got a tight overhook. He's got wrist control, and he's held his own wrist.
So what does he need to do to get out of this position or get into a dominant position of his own, Kieran?
He's just, I believe, waiting for the right time, and there he's going to do it.
Beautiful.
He had the position he needed to escape, was waiting for the exact right moment.
Popped down ever so slightly on the whizzer, gives himself a little bit of space to pop out, brought his opponent one way, and then escaped out the other. Very intelligent. Omarov now trying to open up with a little bit of a striking. Needs to stay light on his feet, can't let Malakorbanov get close enough to score the takedown. And that takedown with me is all the more impressive by the fact it was done in the open forum of the cage.
The timing showed there was just absolutely exquisite.
Again, Malakorbanov showing just why he is a master of sport and freestyle wrestling, and showing just how dominant a facet of mixed martial arts freestyle wrestling is.
I'm impressed too, Phil, with Ahmed Omarov. He's very, very hard to keep down for long.
Yep, that's a great point.
Again, we see the whizzer. You're going to see, I think, wrist control next.
Attempted throw there from Malakorbanov. has his hand around the hip. Very intelligent way
There's
of
the
keeping
wrist
your opponent.
control. Next thing we're going to see, I think, is the figure 4 attempt.
They may try and pop down on that whizzer and escape out. It's Malakovanov who disengages. With that constant push-pull of being in that wrestling clinch, what does that do? Does that fatigue the arms, Kerrick? Is that going to make them a little more tired?
It ordinarily would. Mixed martial arts requires two completely opposite physiological skill sets. It requires explosive speed, like you see right there, and then absolutely static endurance and strength. Very hard to do both of them, but these athletes sure can.
Oh, Malakovanov trying to land that big shot. Spinning back fist lands clean. He's sensing a little bit of blood in the water, but great awareness from Umarov to hit a big, heavy sprawl. And now Umarov in on a takedown of his own. Again, another incredibly close back and forth war between these two local fighters. Arm then guillotine from Malakovanov. Can't quite see if he still has that around, but transitions into the half guard position. Does Umarov? Doesn't look like Umarov is under a lot of pressure here with that arm over his head. He's going to finish the round on top, but how do you begin to score that, Kerrick, if at all?
There's multiple ways of looking at a fight, Brave Nation.
Wizard find the space and circle off. Very, very smart. There's an early spin and back kick to the head. Charging in relentlessly with that takedown.
Again, just beautiful transitions from high kicks right into on the hips. Very, very unusual. Woo!
That landed flush. I think that took Umarov by surprise. Boom. You can see that left a little bit of a dent. Here we go, second round. All to play for here at Brave Combat Federation 55 in partnership with Pro FC. Here we go. Again, classic show of respect from both gentlemen. Stiff kicks to open up for Malakovanov. As he's changing his levels where he may look to change level. Oh, right to the body. Umarov replied back with a right of his own. Another right from Umarov. I'd like to see the shorter fighter Malakovanov fake the takedown and come over the top, because Umarov will be anticipating that takedown now. Change the level, come over the top with a big shot.
Malakovanov clearly has better reads on his opponent. He's able to initiate the attacks better.
Oh, he got caught with a solid shot there, Kerrick.
Where he's short, Phil, is in the counters.
It was a beautiful rolling thunder hook from Umarov, and then scores a takedown of his own. Let's see what kind of work Umarov can do. Has a lot more time to be in this top position. 1 minute just gone on the clock. 4 minutes to go to work here. Opening guard of Malakovanov. One butterfly hook established. May look to elevate and sweep. But right now, Umarov doing a good job of pressuring his man against the cage. Lovely head positioning. You cannot headbutt in mixed martial arts, but you can impose it and grind that in against your opponent.
Phil, I'd like to see Malakovanov shrimp back a little bit, get his back up against that cage and shimmy his way up. Sooner rather than later.
Trying to get in on a Kimura. Beautiful. Oh, and sneaked out by Umarov. Needs to be wary of. Oh, look on the half guard. Would have been difficult to get a triangle there. Potential for a one-arm triangle, but again, that's entirely dependent on your dexterity. Body, head, classic striking. Implemented by Umarov. Malakovanov flat backing just a little bit for me. Could fatigue be creeping in at this stage of the fight, Kerrick?
A lot of these fighters, Phil, will play possum just a little bit. You'll see little tiny brief pauses where they have everything in sight and they wait for the exact moment.
Palm to palm, Malakovanov answering the question for me by, as you say, almost like an alligator waiting to snap and just exert energy in those quick sporadic bursts. Only has one hook in. Umarov needs to stay calm here and just try and buck his opponent off the back. It's just as he's doing, and now lands in the dominant position. What a beautiful reversal of fortunes going on in this fight, Kirik. Isolating an arm is Umarov. Like we saw earlier, expect a little bit of a burst from Malor Kurbanov.
Ahmed in ascendancy right now. This is where we expected him to shine. He is the superior submission grappler, and he's showing it with a very tough, tight top game.
Not only is he a master of sport in MMA, as we said, a national champion in grappling. So it's not just wrestling, it's also the submission aspect that he's very, very intelligent in. Again, Malor Kurbanov just waiting for the moment to hit with that burst of energy.
Malor Kurbanov dangerously close to being mounted.
Gets in on his own double, but the neck might be a little bit exposed here. Malor Kurbanov trying to connect those hands, get a takedown of his own. For fans of grappling and wrestling in MMA, this has been an absolute treat.
Up, down, top, bottom, front, back, and sideways. It has been a grapple fest. Malor Kurbanov very intelligently keeping his head just out of reach of that nasty downward elbow.
On this single, if he can get the arms elevated, trying to get the low angle, but eats some big elbows.
Those elbows were legally thrown too. It's easy to hit the back of the head from that position, but we did not see that. This is very precise striking with the elbows.
Umarov again with that wizard, trying to isolate the left hand of Malor Kurbanov to sneak out.
Great round once again. Great showcase of Russian wrestling, Russian grappling skills.
And you really right on cue, Kirik. And here we see both men starting off exchanging with the strikes, almost to beat one another in. And there was a big shot right on the chin from Umarov. Really clean shot. Malor Kurbanov eats it. Third and final round of what has been such a technical battle between Ahmed Umarov and Albert Malor Kurbanov. Nice leg kick from Umarov.
Umarov showed superior counterpunching, as you're seeing right there.
Malor Kurbanov is starting to chew up that lead leg a little bit with inside and outside leg kicks.
Malor Kurbanov has had more luck initiating the technique, but less on the counters. Ahmed may take a shot or two, but he may give one back that's even better.
It's a beautiful lead counter hook that he's landed with a few times, just shy with the uppercut. Flying knee attempt from Malor Kurbanov, lands a nice knee to the body. Again, inevitably, this fight lands in the clinch. Did Umarov pull guard there, or did Malor Kurbanov score the takedown?
I think he may have pulled guard, Phil, because I think his body was stretched out when he caught that knee. If the human body is in its normal state, the muscle density in the abdomen is strong enough to withstand a knee, but when you get stretched out, even a light knee can do it to you.
Right now, Malor Kurbanov just trying to edge his leg through into the full mount position, landing nasty ground and pound, has both hooks in, much better position than earlier in the fight.
We're going to see the hip pressure coming.
Just driving the hips down to flatten out the opponent.
There's that hip pressure.
Could we see a second rear naked choke in a row here tonight? Umarov rolls to his back, but in doing so gives up the mounted position.
Likely a rain of elbows coming.
Potential switch to the armbar here. He looked like he was trying to switch to it. Again, takes the back. Does have 2 wins, as we said, by submission. 1 by guillotine, 1 by armbar.
Hips are heavier this time. That form is in close position now.
This is already further than he's gone in his mixed martial arts career. Landing huge grounds and pounds.
Nasty example of frying pan fire, back and forth, back and forth.
That's exactly what it is here. He needs to posture up and rain down some big, big shots here if he wants to finish this fight. Just as I say that, lands a beautiful elbow.
That elbow's caused the cut, Bill.
Can't quite see if it's an impediment to the vision at this stage of Ahmed Umarov. Watch out for a potential armbar here too.
Looking for that choke. That's what he wants. If he doesn't get it, he's right back in top mount.
Oh, he's gone pound to pound with the grip, but he only has one hook, and this is going to come down to sheer force of will.
Long time left in this round. Over 2 minutes to go.
May try and just gift wrap that arm. Big hammer fist from Kurbanov. And right now, Umarov seems to be in survival mode more than anything else, Kirik.
Albert Kurbanov is absolutely in ascendancy right now. He's striking very intelligently, Phil. He's not rearing back, giving the opponent any room. He's showing short, sharp, devastating shots right now.
Another beautiful elbow landed by Kurbanov.
He's thinking about taking that arm. He'd rather take the back and the neck. It's safer. He's a wise fighter.
Still 90 seconds to go in this third and final round. Is Kurbanov in danger of potentially punching himself out? Because Umarov is absorbing some serious shots here.
He's not, Phil. He's a Russian fighter. Ask anybody with Russians in their gym. At the end of the day, they're always training when training is done.
Again, takes the back, trying to flatten out Umarov. Both these fighters running on heart right now.
That hip pressure, even if it's not successful, puts a lot of pressure on the spine, a lot of pressure on the abdomen.
Oh, this looks tight. It's not underneath the chin, but you're looking at a face bar there, which is equally uncomfortable. If somebody's got a decent enough squeeze, you could see them break the jaw with that face bar.
And again, it's choke attempt, roll into mount, bleed, back to choke attempt.
It's nice sequential work from Kurbanov, constantly being offensive, trying to finish the fight, not resting on his laurels because he's in the dominant position. It's definitely a statement-making performance in the third and final round. 30 seconds to go. Can Kurbanov get the finish?
Need to see Ahmed try and fight those hooks a little bit more. Right now, he's conceding those hooks, and he's paying a heavy, heavy price for it.
Oh, that looks tight. Kurbanov just trying to get that palm-to-palm squeeze. 10 seconds to go. Kurbanov just going to ride out the round, landing some punches in the dominant position. What a fight, ladies and gentlemen. We go all 3 rounds here in Rostov-on-Don. Beautiful fight. This is Brave Combat Federation 50.
All right, Brave Nation, another incredible battle right here in the Brave CF 55 Pro FC cage. After 3 incredible rounds, we go to the judges' scorecard. Your first judge scores about 30-26. Next judge scores about 30-26. And your last judge scores about 29-27 for unanimous decision victory. Out of the blue corner, Albert Kurbanov.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. A mere formality, but absorbing the accolades right now. And let's see some of that action. Kurbanov showing he can do it all. The striking to the wrestling, establishing the dominant positions. And 23 years old, the sky really is the limit for this young fighter. I'm very excited to see what he does next, and I hope it's inside the Brave Arena. But Umarov showing that he did have moments in the fight where if you were able to push that little bit further, who knows what could have happened. Did score takedowns, did land big shots, but at the end, Albert Kurbanov was just too much in those closing stanzas.
This bout is presented by Winline, the official betting partner of Brave Combat Federation. Enter the game and bet on your favorite. An IMF World Champion in 2019, Gadzimurad Magomedov makes his much-anticipated professional debut as he takes on undefeated grappling star and Chechen judo champion, Jabrail Aidamirov. Coming up next, Gadzimurad Magomedov takes on Jabrail Aidamirov in the middleweight division.
Here we go, Brave Nation. This next war is 3 5-minute rounds in the middleweight division. Introducing your first warrior. Fighting out of the blue corner, this man is a mixed martial artist with a perfect professional record of 2 wins and no losses. He stands 186 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 84 kilograms. Representing Baksan team and fighting out of Grozny, Russia, please welcome Jabrail Aidamirov. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, this man is a mixed martial artist making his professional debut. He stands 183 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 84.15 kilograms. Representing Peresvet fight team and fighting out of Rostov-on-Don, Russia. Give it up for Gadzimurad Magomedov. Your referee is Armen Ananyan.
You can see in the tail of the tape, Gadzimurad 26, Jabrail 22. Very similar in height. Both men making the middleweight limit without any problem. And there has to be pressure on the 0-0 fighter coming in as the amateur world champion.
Phil, we've got a Dagestani versus a Chechen. These are literally the 2 toughest peoples on the face of the planet Earth.
Slight feeling out process going on right now. Gadzimurad hasn't fought since he beat Yusuf Magomedov to win the 2019 IMAF World Championship tournament in Bahrain. So that was November 2019. Since then, now wearing the smaller gloves, no shin pads, no rash guards, longer rounds, can let those elbows fly.
Gadzimurad looking polished, confident, moving his head just as much as he needs to, changing angles.
Oh, big shot over the top from Gadzimurad. Now landing big strikes. This could be the end of it. And just like that, Gadzimurad Magomedov
in Brave Combat Federation history.
What? And here we see the replay. Just a huge shot over the top, right into the wrestling. Beautiful, savage ground and pound to finish it.
The placement was perfect on that shot. It hit absolutely right straight behind the ear. It is a completely destabilizing place to be hit. The fighter doesn't necessarily go out, but he's got no equilibrium whatsoever. Cannot stand, falls to the ground. More shots came in faster.
All right, ladies and gentlemen of Brave Nation, an absolute war inside the cage again. And this finishes up at 46 seconds of the very first round. Your winner by knockout, Gadzimurad Magomedov.
One of the brightest young stars out of Moscow, Artur Aliyev will put an impressive 8-fight win streak on the line tonight as he takes on Ali Abdulhalikov, who has world titles in amateur MMA and Wushu Sanda. Coming up next, Artur Aliyev takes on Ali Abdulhalikov in a catchweight bout of 72.5 kilograms.
Brave Nation, this next battle is 3 5-minute rounds in a catchweight bout of 72.5 kilograms. Introducing your first warrior. Fighting out of the blue corner, this man's a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 8 wins and 1 loss. He stands 177 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 72.25 kilograms. Representing ISMA Fighter and Team Universal Fighters and fighting out of Dagestan, Russia. Put your hands together for Ali Abdulhalikov. And his opponent, Fighting out of the red corner, this man's a mixed martial artist with a record of 8 wins and 1 loss and 1 draw. He stands 173 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 72.45 kilograms. Representing Evolve Gym and fighting out of Moscow, Russia, please welcome Artur Aliyev. Your referee is Arman Ananyan.
Tail of the tape, 29 years old is Aliyev, year younger is Abdul Halikov. Relatively the same with regards to height and weight. Here we go, both men very similar lineage and very similar styles in their mixed martial arts career. Nice movement early from Aliyev. Good head movement, trying to get his head off that center line. Talking to him during fight week, he's a construction worker by day, so he's hoping to build his legacy here in Brave Combat Federation. Nice spinning back kick from the Wushu Sandaman.
Phil, that is one of the characteristic strikes in that Chinese martial art. I got a feeling we're going to see a lot more of them.
Artur Aliyev exhibiting a more boxing style here, has those hands nice and high, almost Tyson-esque in the way he's shifting the head, charging forward. Again, that Wushu Sanda movement's predicated on getting in and out of the danger zones quickly, isn't it, Keurig?
It is, and he spent so much time in those danger zones, has Abdul Halikov, that he's not moving very much. He's staying just, and when I say just, I mean less than an inch away from where his opponent could hit him, and he's taking those pot shots from the outside. This is extremely high-level striking we're here. Very few fighters can pull it off.
Big shot over the top from Abdul Halikov. Also landed a nice switch standing kick to the midsection. Don't often see that standing side kick in mixed martial arts. Snapping those kicks in, and again coming in over the top after the kick, brings the senses of his opponent down and then comes over the top with something very, very smart. Bring another kick in, has the double underhooks. Big knees landed by both men. Aliyev still trying to get inside that distance and range management of Abdul Halikov.
Artur may want to start circling around a little bit. He may want to start moving. Staying on the outside of his opponent's, just beyond his opponent's reach, isn't working that well for him.
Oh, beautiful. Just missed with the spinning back fist, but came back with a beautiful kick to the body. Utilizing range and distance management beautifully is Ali Abdul Halikov. Closing the distance, now initiating the clinch. Still fight in that phone style if he wants to get some offense off.
Abdul Halikov's style, Sanda does everything just a little bit different. So it can be a kick and you think you know it, you think you recognize it from Muay Thai, but it is just a little different, and that is giving him an advantage right now.
He's really done a great job of just breaking the rhythm of Artur Aliyev, not allowing him any time to settle into any kind of a flow. Landed another big shot. I don't think he realized just how much he hurt Artur Aliyev with that shot. Wushu Sandaman now on top, landing shots to the body, but Artur Aliyev trying to be active with the hips, has double underhooks here, trying to impede the movement of Ali Abdul Halikov. Nice little elbows from the bottom is Aliyev. Guard is open. That usually says it was going to be a shift of the hips. Trying to create the angle and grab hold of something.
Ali Abdul Halikov is absolutely showing to practice guard. And you see something fairly dramatic in the next 15-20 seconds. Shifting those hips just a little bit. Trying to take the measure of his opponent. Very clever elbow strikes down into the hips. gauge the opponent's movement when you get up to standing, as you likely are going to.
They're trying to get that knee shield in. Momentarily look to transition, but Abdul Halikov very much aware of it now. Seems comfortable to sit in this position and land big shots. Right now, he's forcing Aliyev on the bottom to do the work. And look to push down on the knee and progress.
Be interesting to see if he calls his opponent up now.
Referee may step in if there's a degree of inactivity here. As I say, that referee does. See if anybody can land anything definitive to finish the round. Thought about the spin and abandoned it. Very solid round for Ali Abdul Halikov. Open kicks, then going high. Just missed with the spinning back fist, but parlayed that into a beautiful kick to the body. Just as I say that, you see a beautiful replay of it slowed down a little bit so we can appreciate the nuances going on there. That's a great shot, Carrick.
Absolutely great shot and a staple of the Sanda system.
And again, I can close the distance with those kicks, with those long rangy strikes. Second round, here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
No ground fighting in Sandas. Abdul Halikov spent his entire sports career right here, standing, trying to land big shots. By contrast, Artur Aliyev has spent an awful lot of time on the ground. He's not doing really good right now.
In 2015, Ali Abdul Halikov beat Joe Alvarez, the veteran fighter, becoming one of only 2 men to do so in his professional career. Using that jab to let Artur Aliyev know that if he comes in, there's something waiting for him there. They try and put forward with that right hand that's loaded and ready to go. Just as you say, Carrick, Artur Aliyev tries the takedown, and that's going to be a little bit demoralizing that it was shaken off so easily.
It was a little what's called naked, Phil. It was done without enough of a setup. It was a very steady forward stalking movement, and then a shot without a lot of preparation.
Spinning kicks. It's a puzzle so far that Artur Aliyev has not been able to figure out. Ironically enough, the construction worker has to deconstruct the game plan of Ali Abdul Halikov. He's having difficulty doing so right now.
Again, if you have Sanda fighters at your disposal, you can train with them and learn the nuances of this system. But if, for example, you've got MMA fighters, if you've got Taekwondo fighters, the kicks are thrown just a little differently.
It's a hard style to replicate in the gym. Not a lot of guys will fight like Ali Abdul Halikov. Does that make him a fantastic resource in the gym? It also makes him an incredibly dangerous man inside the cage. Artur Aliyev trying to close the distance and again mount a little bit of his own offense. At this stage of the fight, he's going to be a little bit frustrated with how the fight's going. I think that's potentially part of the game plan of Abdul Halikov, is frustrate his opponent. Land his strikes, get out, don't engage in a firefight. Very, very intelligent striking.
All comes down to distance management. What you're seeing here is brilliant distance management. Brave Nation, Ali Abdul Halikov may look like he's not doing anything out there, like he's simply standing center ring and doing nothing. That nothing could be further than the truth. He is doing a brilliant job right now of distance managing. He is managing within a way less than an inch the distance between the two of them and taking full advantage of it.
He stays so light on his feet. He's in and out, in and out. There's almost, shades of fencing in it. Nice return kick to the body from Artur Aliyev. Aliyev almost mirroring his opponent a little bit, trying to stay as light as possible. Tried to set it up. Again, good defense.
Leg denied.
Again, good defense from Ali Abdul Halikov. Going to be frustrated is the corner and the fighter, Artur Aliyev. So far, he just doesn't have an answer to that awkward striking style of Abdul Halikov.
Unfortunately, Phil, the answer is to train with Sanda fighters, and there's not enough time for that right now.
90 seconds to go in the second round. What can Aliyev do? He almost needs to land 3s, 4s, and 5s with the intention of the final punch being the one that lands.
Phil, when Aliyev comes in with a shot, Abdulhalikov typically slips to his outside, to his left side. He may be able to, Aliyev may be able to take advantage of that by coming in with the hands and throwing a right knee. Potentially a right uppercut too, but I think that would get red.
Oh, another big spinning back fist from Abdulhalikov. Just one of Aliyev there. The spinning back fist of Aliyev just came a little bit slower.
I do love the attitude though, Phil. You do it to me, I'm going to do it back to you.
It's constant little movements and fast twitch muscle fiber. Feints being thrown by Abdulhalikov, trying to elicit that response from Arthur Aliyev. Constantly throwing with the jab, almost as if to say to Arthur Aliyev, if you try and come inside of this range, you will get hit. Beautiful counter-striking beat exhibited by Ali Abdulhalikov. And realistically, Carrick, on the balance of play, you have to say that Ali Abdulhalikov is up 2 rounds.
He absolutely is up 2 rounds.
Here we go, third and final round. Can Arthur Aliyev snatch a win from the jaws of defeat, or can the Wushu Sandaman slip and slide his way to a victory here? Nice charging forward.
Abdulhalikov may have been told by his corner to be a little bit more aggressive. We're not seeing him play with the distance quite as much now.
Yeah, being able to turn it up in the third round does speak to incredible cardio and stamina. Arthur Aliyev trying to be a little bit more aggressive now. Big shot to the body, reply from Abdulhalikov, catches the kick into the takedown. Surely this is not where Arthur Aliyev wants to be in the third and final round of a fight.
Didn't go very well for him the last time. Not likely to go very well this time. Likely wants to get a foot in that hip, try and create some distance, try to pop up, or even wall walk or shrimp until you're up against the wall and wall walk up.
He's doing the right thing by getting side on, trying to pop on that hip, shrimp out, but Abdulhalikov showing he's got very good positional awareness, not just on his feet, but also on the ground. Squaring the hips off nicely. Aliyev almost seems as if he's trying to shift back to get against the cage, and this being a very, very big cage, there's so much further to go to find it.
It's a great point, Phil. You get taken down in a training cage in a gym, 2 shrimps and you're there. This is about 14 shrimps and you're there.
More shrimps than an Australian barbecue. Abdulhalikov trying to stay offensive in the top position. Although it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for him either if the fight was stood up.
Strangely enough, Phil, I think it's to both these fighters' advantage to stand it up. I think there's a much higher chance of the fight being ended standing than right here.
Aliyev trying to get in on that Kimura grip, more so to use it to try and sweep, but Abdulhalikov very much aware of it.
Arthur Aliyev got a nice little shot into the chin with his right hand. Definitely still in this fight to win it. He's looking to isolate an arm, looking to move the head to the side, trying to scoot his hips out.
Big shot, swings the legs away. That was a huge shot. Now taking the back is Abdulhalikov. Arthur Aliyev doing everything he can to try and get to his feet. Grounded opponent has one hand on the ground. Lifts that hand up, can be knee to the head now. Both hands still down. Intelligent work, he's just throwing that hand momentarily, bringing it back down, so he's technically a grounded opponent and can't be kneed in the head in this position. More than 2 points of contact, rendering him a grounded opponent. Now he's definitely a grounded opponent after being taken down.
Interesting, Phil. We've got a case where Abdul Halikov is also very good at distance management on the ground, staying very close, avoiding any solid shots, avoiding any even submission attempts at this point.
Referee giving fighters a good amount of time to work this out on the ground. Some referees get a little bit too stir crazy and force the fighters up, but they've had a good amount of time to work on the ground here. Into the final minute of the third and final round, Carrick, and Arthur Aliev just hasn't been able to mount the offense necessary to get any kind of foothold in this fight.
In the early days of the sport, Phil, when we had the likes of Lyoto Machida coming up, people just didn't understand that karate-based style for a while. Then they found some karate-based athletes, worked out with them, and they got it. But what you see right here is somebody who's simply not used to that Chinese Sanda approach to martial arts.
Closing stanzas of the round. Will Abdul Halikov turn it up ever so slightly, land some big shots, make it definitive? There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, and barring something out of the ordinary, you have to
take it away, big man.
All right, Brave Nation, what a great battle we had inside the cage yet again. And after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. Your first judge scores about 30-27, and your next 2 judges scored about 30-28 for your winner by unanimous decision. Out of the blue corner, Ali Halikov.
Just seeing some of the replay action there, and once again, just the technical side of the striking was absolutely fantastic to watch. And even in the grounded positions, he was doing enough to keep himself active to win points on the ground. Very accomplished, professional, well-rounded performance.
Props to Phil.
Kamal Magomedov, an undefeated rising star with all of his professional wins coming via stoppage, is ready to make his Brave CF debut as he takes on Vitaly Tverdokhlebov, a rising Russian star with 7 stoppage victories to his name. Coming up next, Kamal Magomedov takes on Vitaly Tverdokhlebov in a super welterweight bout.
Brave Nation, this next battle is 3 5-minute rounds in the super welterweight division. Introducing your first warrior. Fighting out of the blue corner, this man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 11 wins and 6 losses. He stands 178 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 79.5 kilograms. Representing Cesta Club and RFT team and fighting out of Russia, please welcome Vitaly Tverdokhlebov. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a perfect professional record of 8 wins and no losses. He stands 173 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 79.6 kilograms. Representing Gladius Club and Team Universal Fighters and fighting out of Dagestan, Russia. Give it up for Kamal Magomedov. Your referee is Yevgeny Olensevich.
Big thanks to our partner, Veles Sports Club. Brave Nation, Kamal Magomedov is a bad man at the height of his powers. Do not blink. Fight.
First round, here we go. Show of respect. Kamal used to getting the fights finished early. As I say, all of his 8 wins coming by way of first round finish. If you're Vitaly Terdoklebov, what do you do? Do you throw everything at him? Do you try and drag him into the deep rounds? Magomedov just stalking, taking his time. Terdoklebov a little bit tentative, as if he knows just how dangerous Kamal Magomedov is.
Brave Nation, smart fighters have a little feeling out period early in the fight where they try and get reads on their opponent. That's what you saw Kamal Magomedov do.
Big takedown, but transition. That's the tap straight away.
It's over.
The 9th first-round finish in the career of Kamal Gladius Magomedov. And again, I think that was inside the first half of the first round. An unstoppable force of nature is Kamal Magomedov.
That was not a mouse trap, not a rat trap. That was one gigantic man trap we just saw in front of us. Absolutely phenomenal end to that fight.
First off, credit to Vitaly Terdoklebov for taking the fight. He scored the takedown, but the awareness, the positional awareness of Kamal Magomedov to turn that takedown into a fortuitous position for himself, get the armbar, and Terdoklebov had to tap straight away, just illustrating how tight that armbar really was.
Phil, he was in front of us just recently holding on to that arm. I don't believe the arm is injured, but if he had tapped out a split second later, it absolutely would have popped the socket. It would have come right out.
Fantastic finish, and Kamal Magomedov could potentially, again, Brave Combat Federation.
All right, Brave Nation, what another explosive bout right here in the Brave CF 55 Pro FC cage. This bout comes to an end at 52 seconds of the very first round. Your winner by armbar and remains undefeated, Kamal Magomedov.
The undefeated Kamal Gladius Magomedov is now going to have a word with Phil Campbell. Just taking a couple of selfies for the social media first, because that is the... We're getting a little bit of a replay now, courtesy of Green Hill, of that phenomenal submission that we saw earlier. Hips were in, arm just about broke. Quick tap, and it was all over. And that is the incredible thing about mixed martial arts, is you can win with causing absolutely no damage whatsoever. If this was boxing and you had a similar situation, somebody would be knocked out in a sleep, but you saw that tap and it was over before it even hit the ground. To the victor goes the spoils. Gladius with his arms raised.
Andrei Bergovsky is one of the most lethal fighters in his weight class, with all of his 8 pro victories coming by way of stoppage. He takes on Sergey Yaskovitz, who has 9 wins by stoppage of his own and is known for his combat sambo skills. Coming up next, Andrei Bergovsky takes on Sergey Yaskovitz in a welterweight bout.
Here we go, Brave Nation. This next battle is 3 5-minute rounds in the welterweight division. Introducing your first warrior. Fighting out of the blue corner, this man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 13 wins and 8 losses. He stands 176 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 77.25 kilograms. Representing Gentleman FC and fighting out of Rostov-on-Don, Russia. Give it up for Sergey Yaskovitz. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, this man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 8 wins and 4 losses. He stands 183 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 77.35 kilograms. Representing Velas Gym and fighting out of Russia, please welcome Andrei Bergovsky. Your referee in charge of the action is Yevgeny Olensevich.
Big thanks to Winline, to our sponsor, Winline.
Tail of the tape, you can see Andre Bragovski, 3 years the younger, also a little bit taller. The weight's practically the same, and again, a rematch 6.5 years in the making is in front of us right now.
Stylistically, Phil, we're really looking at Sambo versus Sambo. Absolutely, positively, in my opinion, the most underrated art in mixed martial arts is Sambo.
There's those incredible leg kicks from Bragovski. Expect to see another leg kick followed by the hands. Just really seems to find his mark with that leg kick every single time.
Brave Nation, those 3 calf kicks that you saw right now are already causing a welt on the leg.
Jaskovets throwing back with his own leg kick, trying to get that big right hand off, but again, when you have the kicking game of Bragovski, you're going to really just tenderize that leg and prevent the fighter that you're placing that leg kick upon from having that pop in his step moving forward.
Brave Nation, there's several setups for that calf kick you're seeing. A main one is when you catch a person putting their weight onto that leg. If there's little weight on the leg, it's not going to do some damage. If there is weight on the leg, as you saw right there, then the damage starts to go up.
That's what he does so perfectly with his timing. Just chop that leg kick in at the best moment. Nice minuscule check there. Just caught that on the knee by lifting the knee ever so slightly. As much as Jaskovets isn't letting on that hurt, it definitely did.
Jaskovets, though, is now responding. He turned the knee out slightly to check. He pulled the knee back slightly to defend himself. Those are both very smart techniques to deal with this. And notice, Phil, he's not using a single technique to defend against that. If you use one single defensive technique against that low kick, you may get a counter to your counter. But you switch him up, move away, turn the knee out, move away again. It's very, very intelligent defense here.
Bragovski is, of course, a master of sport and combat sambo as well, so he does have that grappling in his arsenal. Both these men, bona fide finishers, 18 finishes between them in their respective mixed martial arts careers. Obviously, both exponentially different fighters than they were when they first fought in 2016, 2015 rather. Jaskovets trying to mix it up with the levels, going to the body drill, going low midsection. Bragovski very, very calm and loose in there.
Jaskovets striking absolutely is a little bit unconventional, and absolutely it hits hard.
It'll be interesting to see if Bragovski goes back to the well with those leg kicks. There
Pass
it is.
answered. Phil, I think Bragovski caught a knee on the fourth or fifth leg kick that he threw.
Yeah.
That may have made him want to rest that foot for a minute or two, because when a man with that kind of kicking power runs into a knee, it is not pleasant for either party.
That's absolutely terrible. But again, you have the frequency with which he's throwing these leg kicks. Should the fight go into the second round, it really is money in the bank. Completely immobilizes your opponent, and they only really feel it when they're in that one minute of being static in between rounds. Potential for a knee here from Bragovski. There it is, big over the top, shot over the top from Jaskovets. Nice short elbow from Bragovski. And he's opened up a little bit of a cut on Jaskovets. Nice distance management, able to be evasive and slip out of the way of those shots from Jaskovets is Bragovski.
Jaskovets is warming my heart, though, Phil. I really love this brawl style. Coming in, letting those hands float. Absolutely crazy angles. Moving that head so he doesn't get hit too cleanly with punches back.
Jaskovets landed a nice subtle check here. Goes for the spinning back fist. But again, good distance management. Just slipping out of the way of punches is Bragovski.
Bragovski absolutely showing he's the slicker fighter.
I like that he fainted there with the takedown, just touched the inside leg, trying to elicit that response from Jaskovets.
He wants to express that slickness by causing damage, though. He needs impact.
Jumping kick to the ribs from Bragovski. He's definitely the much calmer, more assertive fighter, isn't he? Just seems to have settled into his groove so much quicker than Jaskevets.
Fun first round, Phil. I am a little bit worried for Brogowski. When you have a style that's very cool, calm, and collected, it's sometimes not
to his own movement after throwing those kicks and maybe catching the knee. But that's just perfect placement.
Clean. That was beautiful. That was, I believe, the first one. That, I believe, was the second one. The one we're about to see, I do believe, collided with a knee. We're not going to get a look at that, but we are looking at that beautiful elbow off a clinch.
Just nice little short elbow, and I think that was the shot that opened up Jaskevets. There's a beautiful counter hook that caught the attention of Jaskevets.
Somebody closes their eyes and they could be throwing a spinning kick or an overhand shot. It's a lot tougher.
And as with regards to purely striking in MMA, Jaskevets is incredibly hard to put away. No one so far has been able to finish him with strikes. Again, opening up with those leg kicks. Jaskevets a little bit more aggressive in the opening stanzas of the second round. Charging forward in that straight line. Brogowski able to get off the center line, not absorbing too much punishment.
Sergey, slip, let it go, see what happens. Brogowski absolutely back at that chopping game.
Oh, catches the leg beautifully, replies with shots of his own. Nice work from Jaskevets to get back up. Now has Brogowski pressed against the cage, has one underhook. They're in that 50-50 position.
Brogowski, this is a huge moment in this fight, Phil. This is one of the tests for who has a stronger core, who is the physically stronger fighter. It's who can push who up against that cage and hold them, and they're reversing again, and they're trading knees.
Oh, beautiful way just to shrug off your opponent, get the fight back to where you want it. And again, this beautiful big cage that these fighters are competing in does lend itself beautifully to the counter striker. Nice active jab from Brogowski. As you say, Kirik, Sergey Jaskevets, he does seem to be trying to find that one big go-home punch. But as we know in mixed martial arts, when you're trying to find it, that's when invariably it doesn't come.
He is as well, which will increase his chances at it. Shifting, he's starting with his left side forward, going right side forward, trying to wing a shot from there, see what happens, see what lands.
Is he switching to, the argument could be made that he's switching to try and throw the shot, or he's switching because he doesn't want to absorb any more of those leg kicks?
My guess is it's the former. He's got a real wild style, and he will take full advantage of it if he throws those shots with an unfamiliar side forward. That said, he's now bleeding a little bit. Caught a crisp shot.
That cut just in the corner of the eye, not right on the eye line, but he has opened up a little bit of a cut underneath the eye of Brogowski.
Brogowski's got a mouse under his eye.
That was a beautiful shovel uppercut from Brogowski. Again, the hard-headed Jaskevets just shook it off, waited forward with his own shots. Jaskevets turning it up right now, senses that he potentially needs a finish. Oh, that's a huge shot. Both these guys so entertaining for vastly different reasons. Brogowski intelligently closes the distance and clinches up with Jaskevets.
Sergey wants to get off of that fence. He's got an overhook. He needs just a little bit more control. One more point of control. Could be the chin, could be a wrist. With that, he'll get out. Not likely to be able to finish with that arm in, with that guillotine.
Especially against Brogowski, who's never been finished by submission in his professional career. Not so much using it as an offensive. Oh, beautiful takedown again. Just a burst of energy when he needed it.
And a burst of energy back up for the man from Russia, Sergey Jaskevets.
Both these guys have upped the tempo and a much, oh, almost caught the knee. I'm not sure if it landed flush. And whilst the output from Sergey Yaskovets has been a lot better than the first round, still having a little bit of difficulty trying to find the chin of Andrei Bragovsky.
He is finding that orbital, though. Yaskovets is starting to close his opponent's eyes with those wild shots.
I suppose when you're throwing enough of them, or as much of them as Sergey Yaskovets is, one of them has to land, right?
I actually talked with a boxing coach who coached somebody against Meldrick Taylor, and they told him,
big shot, he wobbled him. Sergey Yaskovets is pouring on the power now. What a shift in momentum in the second round. Oh, this could be it.
Landed.
Oh,
Referee breaks it up.
Sweet redemption for Sergey Yaskovets. 6.5 years in the making. These two fighters are now 1-1. I want to see the trilogy fight, Carrick.
What a phenomenal performance from Sergey Yaskovets. Didn't show the same level of skill, but he sure showed a huge level of heart.
Just see the replay here. Landed big strikes. And it's a big shot to the body that drops Bragovsky. Referee forced to call a stop to the action. Fantastic stoppage by the referee. Give Bragovsky every chance, but the night belongs to Sergey Yaskovets.
And Brave Nation, when someone gets hit in the body like that and they drop...
All right, Brave Nation, another explosive bout as this night just keeps getting better. This bout stops at 4 minutes and 53 seconds of the second round. Your winner by knockout, Sergey Yaskovets!
Спасибо всем.
I'd like to speak as well, just a little bit, talking over this replay about how in mixed martial arts there's exquisite style, there's the way you're supposed to do things, but sometimes you throw those shots the way you want them, even if they're utterly unorthodox, and in the end you leave your opponent in a heap on the ground. Now we'll get back to a little overview of what we're seeing here in the replay. Caught kick, 3 shots to the head, fighter driven to the ground. A lot of other fighters, that would have been the end of it. But no, that was the finish. Huge, booming shot, perfectly placed into those ribs. Started from another city, landed in Rostov-on-Don. And Sergey Yaskovets is your winner.
Coming off 3 straight victories, including 2 stoppages, Rustam Shiev hopes to land a title shot when he meets Sambo World Cup champion Abu Sufyan Ali Khan, who is eager to get his Brave CF career off to a winning start. Coming up next, Rustam the Russian Bear Siev takes on Abu Sufyan Ali Khanov in the middleweight division.
Next incredible war is 3 5-minute rounds in the middleweight division. Introducing your first warrior. Fighting out of the blue corner. This man's a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 12 wins and 3 losses. He stands 177 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 84.2 kilograms. Representing Team Universal Fighters and fighting out of Dagestan, Russia. Please welcome Abu Sufyan Ali Khanov. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This man's a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 5 wins and 2 losses. He stands 177 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 83.8 kilograms. Representing K-Dojo Warrior Tribe and fighting out of Fairfield, New Jersey, USA, by way of Russia. Give it up for Rustam, the Russian Bear, CF. Your referee is Armin Anyan.
Big thanks to our partner, Alex Trade Production Company. Again, big thanks to Alex Trade Production Company.
There you see the tail of the tape. Rustam Shiziev may be the elder fighter, but in terms of mixed martial arts, he doesn't have as much time on the clock. That may be an advantage, as he may be the fresher fighter. But Kirk, talk to me quickly about just how much of an influence and just how much of an MMA genius Master K is.
I want to talk to you quickly, Phil, about what I do believe is going to be the fight of the night. And a huge part of the credit for that absolutely does go to Master K, who is an extraordinary grappling coach and as well can teach his fighters, look at that, can teach his fighters how to strike, and even more importantly, how to put them together.
That is incredible strength by the Russian Bear into the scarf takedown. Needs to be wary of getting his back taken in this position, but he's such an intelligent grappler. If I'm aware that he could get his back taken, I am sure Rustam Shiziev is more acutely aware of it than anybody else here.
Phil, that was absolutely the greatest expression of technique and of strength that we have seen tonight. Absolutely phenomenal takedown. Now there's going to be a scramble.
Good work by Abu Sufyan to get back up and initiate the break. But Rustam Shiziev, he's just got such incredible power in his hands too. Yes, predominantly a grappler, but uses that grappling to get the fight to the ground and invariably finishes with a KO or a TKO finish. Obviously coming from that southpaw stance, his entries into takedowns and clinches are a little bit different, as a southpaw is a rare breed in combat sports. Ironically, the Russian Bear just pawing with that jab.
That pawing, though, Phil, is very, very useful. What he's trying to do is get reads on the opponent. When he goes wide, what does his opponent do? Where does the hand go? He saw a read, tried to land a shot, and that was a big counter we saw right there. Good thing he pulled back. That would have been a short night for, as I said, what I do believe is going to be the fight of the night.
But with every fight that we see Shiziev in, his striking is evolving, is improving. He's becoming a very competent striker as well.
It's not just the technical competence of these shots. There's two other things I want to draw attention to. It's that they land with booming power and that he seamlessly puts them together with his takedowns.
It's a huge kick to the body again, coming from that southpaw stance. It's a pre-made kick to the liver. Abu Sufyan again, just so dangerous, as we said, riding a 3-fight win streak of his own.
Beautiful head movement from the southpaw, Rustam Shiziev.
Invariably what you see when you get two quality grapplers like this, the fight will predominantly play out on the ground, and that's kind of been the story of the fight so far, apart from that one takedown into scarf from Shiziev. Oh, got caught with a shot there. Was trying the overhand left of his own and got caught with a counter lead left, I believe, from Abu Sufyan Alikhanov.
Brave Nation, watch the lead foot of both these two fighters. Both these fighters want to place their foot, just like you saw there, on the outside of the other fighter's lead foot. That opens up the center of the body to straight line attacks.
Becomes a little bit of a battle, doesn't it, Kirik? Abu Sufyan charging forward in the clinch. Attempted foot sweep from Shiziev. There's a little bit of tension in this fight. You feel like anything can and will happen in the next few seconds.
Both these fighters, Phil, have extraordinary power in their hands. A single shot, and I don't say this by any means about most fighters, a single shot like the one you saw there, if it landed cleanly with timing, could put the opponent out.
Shiziev needs to be careful of dropping his lead hand when he throws that big left overhand. The right hand is dropping ever so slightly. If Abu Sufyan becomes aware of that and then throws the likes of an uppercut or a counter hook himself, it may just land.
Brave Nation, you saw Abu Sufyan throwing shots not off his lead side, as would be customary, but off his rear side. That's what you have to do when you have mirrored stances to each other. When you have what's called an open stance, that lead hand is no longer as effective, and so you're relying on that rear hand, which is a little harder to land, but hits with a lot more power.
A little bit of head fighting going on here. Both these men battling for dominance. Nice little shot on the break. Big shot to the body from Shiziev. Oh, up elbow from Abu Sufyan. Shades of Anderson Silva against Tony the Freak Frickland.
kicks are a little bit new wrinkle. And
oh, that was a beautifully timed kick to the inside.
Round ends. Terrific first round.
Legitimately on the edge of my seat during that fight. That's an illustration of how good.
Planned for. It will be set up, and we may see one of the setups right here on the Green Hill replay. That was a counter left hook from Abusupian. He timed his opponent's movement, and boom, landed that left hand. It did have an effect. And there was what was absolutely the most beautiful, coolest fight, not of the night, but the coolest shot I have seen in a long time.
That was beautiful. Just ducks under and then pops up with the elbow. As I say, Anderson Silva, an intriguing bout is underway.
Abusupian stalking. Rustam moving that head.
Oh, head kick landed.
Abusupian appears to think he's got a sense of his opponent's timing because he's throwing his punches in bunches now. He's throwing his strikes in bunches. He's not doing single shots.
Rustam trying to get in on the takedown. Rushes Abusupian against the cage.
I was just going to say, but when you put too many shots together, it does leave you open to being taken down.
Sneaks the leg on the inside, goes back to the side of Abusupian. Big shots. Trying to establish those double underhooks in that 50-50 over-under position. Pressed against the cage right now.
Rustam working his elbow down, partially negating that underhook. He's got such a tight squeeze, such a tight clamp. He's taking some of his opponent's leverage away, trying to use that to move his opponent around. While the opponent's trying to regain his footing, he's going to try and sweep a leg out. Didn't think he saw what he needed. Still pressing.
And interestingly though, this is bread and butter for both men. Nice defense, a nice break from Abusupian Alikhanov.
Interestingly, that time when there was a break, it was Abusupian who threw the shots. Previously, it had been Rustam who'd be coming out very intelligently, coming out of those little scrambles by throwing a shot.
Big shot over the top again there. But Rustam Shaziev is a fantastic pressure fighter, whether it be on the feet, and that is twice we have seen that coming off the big overhand from Shaziev. The leg kick timed beautifully, sweeping that leg right out from underneath Shaziev.
Abusupian has a sense of his opponent's timing now. He has a sense of his footwork. He has a sense of the speed with which he comes forward, and maybe even a sense of what he's going to attack at. What you're seeing right here is very intelligent from Rustam. He's changing it up a little bit. He's not coming in with the shots anymore from the outside. He's trying to close, secure a body lock, take it down to the ground where he would be happiest.
What I like about the way Shaziev is approaching this, if he initiates the clinch and it gets broken off, he just takes a breath and gets right back in the face of Alikhanov. Again, there it is, a breath and then right back into it.
Shaziev is moving that head continuously, which is very, very wise. If that head stays on the center line, it may be a short night for him.
It's caught with a big right hand there, but again, like a zombie in a George A. Romero movie, he just keeps coming forward. Going down on that whizzer, May trying to establish an underhook of his own.
An interesting test of size, of strength, of leverage, and skill to see who keeps who's back up against the Brave Combat Federation cage.
Also of endurance, because Kerry, I know we say this every time, but it's in the hope that maybe a new fan of mixed martial arts is watching. This is the most grueling, taxing, debilitating aspect of mixed martial arts. Being in that 50-50 clinch against the cage, it can be so draining.
Indeed, Phil, indeed. When people think of mixed martial arts, they think of a flying armbar, they think of a flying knee, they think of an explosive straight right hand. But sometimes the physiological needs are this. They're barely moving at all. They're the full use of all the strength in the body without movement. Referee wants to see some movement, separates them. I don't think anybody's going to complain. And they're back at it from the outside.
Nice kick to the body, but a lovely reply kick to the leg. Oh, trip, grabbing the leg and then kick in the leg out from underneath Shaziev.
CF looking for a switch. Probably going to look for a stand-up now, but he may get some leverage on that switch. Use it to sweep, to stand, to go behind, and he uses it to stand.
Nice work from Chiziev. Had constantly that base. Tried the trip, denied heavy hips from Alikhanov.
What happened there, Brave Nation, was at this stage in the fight, both fighters are very slick with sweat. You can grab an elbow, you think you have the purchase you need to take your opponent down, but it pops out.
Nice work. I think that was an elbow attempted from Chiziev, but the momentum of that brought him right back chest to chest with Alikhanov.
10 seconds, 10 seconds.
Shots landed on the break. Genuinely fantastic fight so far, Kerry. Both these guys so evenly matched. Little show of respect to one another.
All right. There's going to be a big question in both corners.
Throws his shots, but be there quick enough to fire back with your own. There is a beautiful lead left hook that he's thrown a few times. When Chiziev, as I've said, throws the big power left, he leaves himself vulnerable on his right side. There is scope there for the likes of an uppercut coming from the right side of Abu Sufyan.
And as you're speaking, Phil, our Green Hill replay is narrating exactly what you're talking about. You do see the space there for that counter to land.
Again, that's beautiful timing from Abu Sufyan. Chiziev standing in front. Now Abu Sufyan trying to get in on a takedown of his own. How heavy are those hips?
How heavy are those hips?
That was ridiculous.
They're made out of uranium. I thought it was all over, and it wasn't.
Chiziev has to be one of the strongest guys in mixed martial arts.
Again, Brave Nation, there are different ways of showing power. You've got the competitions where people lift rocks over their head. This is harder. This is two people's bodies pushing against each other to the depth of their soul with all their muscle fiber. And right now, Rustam Chiziev seems to be in ascendancy.
Now up and again in this position, he's just forcing Alikhanov to wear his weight, to bear the brunt of the pressure he's putting down. It's not just gravity pulling down on you, it's a Russian bear.
Rustam doing a nice job of keeping that head stuffed. When the head's stuffed, the esophagus collapses. It's much harder to breathe.
Potential here to set up the likes of a Darcer and Anaconda.
Given the length of his arms, I'm guessing an Anaconda is going to be more likely, but he is such an extraordinary grappler. Nothing would surprise me at this point from Rustam.
And what he did there was so subtle. He was against the cage, could feel the forward pressure of Abu Sufyan, and then just slowly, incrementally circled off into the open arena of the mat. Very smart. Technically, this is a beautiful fight. Great work from Alikhanov to get back to the feet. 3 minutes or so to go in the third and final round. If you are a fan of mixed martial arts, you are a fan of this fight, you are a fan of both these men.
Once again, I want to extend my deepest respect for and appreciation for the conditioning that these Russian fighters show. Being stuck under a double like that, having your head stuffed for 45 seconds or so, and then popping right up, showing everything you got, is yet another testament to the extraordinary conditioning of these athletes.
Now it's Alikhanov who's putting the pressure on. Chiziev has him forced against the cage. Midway point of the third and final round. Referee calling for a little bit of action.
Chiziev doing a really nice job here of moving just a little bit, seeing where the fighter's feet follow, and then looking to try and set up a foot sweep. It is one of his signature moves. Referee wants some room, wants to see a little more action.
Both these guys showing they have a fantastic gas tank too. Nice little slip there from Rustam.
I don't want to see Rustam throw that left body kick again. He's gotten countered 2-3 times in a row with an inside low kick off it. Oh, nicely checked. You heard that thump. That was bone on small bone.
Now, you know when you hear that dull thud instead of a slap that it hurt.
Brave Nation, it may not come through on the television, but there's a sound
standing Kimura.
bone makes.
Standing Kimura attempt here. But this could parlay into a huge takedown. This is incredibly tense here.
Don't want to see any more of those kicks. Want to see head movement and hands from Rustam.
Does carry the hands a little bit low. Sure is exciting, and it does draw his opponent's in. It's also very, very dangerous. Trying to land that big left. Again, oh, that defense from Chiziev is incredible.
Phenomenal D, incredible range of motion.
And again,
his legs, those hips are made of uranium.
That sprawl is as good as a strike, because it forces your opponent's head into the mat. Seconds to go. Can Rustam Chiziev make the claim to be the #1 contender in the middleweight division, or can Abu Sufyan Alikhanov steal the momentum of the Russian Bear and announce himself as a threat on the global stage?
In all honesty, one huge shot could do it. One takedown could do it.
Gentlemen, that was right in front of us here in our broadcast position. It was like watching Jaws in 3D. They just came right at us. What a fight. Incredible fight from both men.
Brave Nation, there are some cards where it doesn't matter who the judges are or what they're doing. They're not necessary. The fights end in a knockout. We're going to get a little Green Hill replay. Watching some of that furious back and forth action, as often happened. We see Rustam moving forward, getting countered a little bit on the chin. That was very early on in round 1. It was in part what we saw. And there's that reverse elbow. Absolutely, if they gave an award for single technique of the night, I think it would be that overhand into a rising elbow. Can't say I've ever seen it exactly like that. What I can say I've seen is the roaring lion, Carlos Kramer, announcing, and he's just about to do it now.
All right, Brave Nation, another incredible battle inside the Brave CF 55 Pro FC cage. After 3 amazing rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. Your first judge scores about 29-29. Your next judge scores about 30-28. And your final judge scores about 30-29 for your winner. Out of the blue corner, Abu Sufyan Alikhanov.
Здесь чемпион Фахриддин. Фахриддин, я иду за тобой. Не расслабляйся. Следующий мой бой будет еще жестче. Я жду следующий бой. Может быть, следующий турнир, может быть, через турнир. Я буду готов уже в наилучшей своей форме.
I understood Fakhreddin. That sounded like a call-out.
I have to come to this league to fight for a lot of wins, and I heard that there is a champion, a distant champion, and I'm waiting for a fight with him.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up one more time for a fantastic performance from Abu Sufyan Alikhanov.
Riding a 6-fight win streak with 12 wins by submission, Kamil Magomedov is making his Brave CF debut as he takes on Englishman Sam Patterson, one of the best young talents in the lightweight division, who's closing in on a title shot. Coming up next, Kamil Magomedov takes on Sam the Future Patterson in a lightweight bout.
Brave Nation, this next war is 3 5-minute rounds in the lightweight division. Introducing your first warrior. Fighting out of the blue corner, this man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 7 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. He stands 193 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 70.55 kilograms. Representing Team Crossface and fighting out of Watford, England, please welcome Sam the Future his opponent. Fighting out of the red corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 13 wins and 1 loss. He stands 178 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 70.7 kilograms. Representing KHK Team Bahrain and fighting out of Dagestan, Russia. Give it up for Kamil Magomedov. Your referee is Armin Ananyan.
Big thanks to our sponsor, ATP 5 Motor Transport Company. Again, big thanks to ATP 5 Motor Transport Company.
Tail of the tape there, you see the biggest discrepancy being in height. Sam Patterson actually weighed in lighter than Kamil Magomedov. And we talked about it in the opening segment at the very top of the show. A cage like this really lends itself to the freedom and fluency of a striker like Sam Patterson.
Sam getting reads right now on his opponent. It's a little bit unorthodox, but he's key. As often happens now in mixed martial arts, Sam's reaching out a little bit with that hand just to stop any crazy thing that could be coming in at him. He started off feinting the kicks. He's gotten a couple of reads. He thinks he knows what he may need to do. Threw 2 kicks so far. Haven't landed, but I guarantee you, his mind is now downloading information to try to set those kicks up. In the meantime, Magomedov saw something of his own, let his own shin go.
Trying to land that spinning back kick. Patterson done the right thing, stepping off to the side and in. Didn't absorb any damage on it, but then eats a big kick from Kamil. Kamil, of course, coming from that southpaw position. The injuries are a little bit different. Nice inside leg kick from Magomedov. Sam replies.
Nice kick again.
And a nice stiff jab there, doubled up on it, did Sam Patterson.
Not too often you find a Dagestani wrestler, BJJ coach, with terrific kicks.
A little bit of a slip there more than anything from Magomedov. Patterson showing calm, not rushing into anything. You forget that Patterson's only 25 years old. Maintaining a respectful distance. Patterson, a fantastic grappler in his own right, of course, training under Dave Lee at Team CrossFit. Dave Lee being a fantastic Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Sam Patterson himself a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Has what, Phil? 3, 4 submissions to his name?
3 submissions, Carrick, yep. And he had a beautiful high elbow guillotine against Cian Cowley after doing some great work on the feet. There's the first takedown attempt.
And the first takedown denied.
Sam Patterson gets back to his feet, rushed against the cage. Kamil Magomedov being relentless with it. This will be the most interesting exchange of the fight so far, Carrick.
Sam Patterson very, very calm and skilled here. He finds himself in this position a lot. Why? Because this is exactly what his opponents want to do. He's so tall, they want to be in the inside where they can exchange short shots. You don't want to stand on the outside exchanging kicks and punches with him forever. Opponents do get him here quite a lot. It's still very, very hard to take Sam Patterson to the ground here.
And he showed great grappling ability in his last fight at 351 against Ilyas Jarun. Ilyas Jarun known for being an incredible grappler. Sam Patterson, of course, came away from that fight with a unanimous decision over the 3 rounds. Patterson trying to keep that base nice and wide. Has one overhook and one underhook. We're trying to dig in for the underhook. Kamil just happy to wear on Sam right now. Wait for him to make the move. Patterson's done a good job of raising that level of Kamil, not letting him get underneath the hips.
Unified rules of mixed martial arts are a little different than those of boxing. In boxing, points can be given for defensive technique. That is not the case in this sport. So we're giving Sam Patterson props for not getting taken down, but he is not winning this fight by doing it.
Goes, switches to that figure 4 grip. Conor McGregor shoulder bump. Being so tall in this kind of a position, is it an advantage or a disadvantage for Sam Patterson, Kerry?
He absolutely. What just happened is what he wants to happen. Would have been a little happier seeing him force that situation. But I'm not the one in there.
Kick went low, absolutely positively inadvertent. Struck fighter has up to 5 minutes to recover. He will not take that full amount. I'm very, very confident. But he's got up to 5 minutes if he wants it. And if he wants it, he absolutely positively should take it.
And this is a common thread you see when you have a southpaw fighter like Camille fighting an orthodox fighter like Sam.
We're going to get a look at it.
Oh, that's a stiff leg shot, instantaneous.
Excellent refereeing again, verbal command. Wants the fighters to touch hands. And they're back at it.
You know, groin shots, they're like car crashes. You shouldn't look, but you can't help yourself from watching. Another attempted kick to the liver from Camille Magomedov. Went body, then went head. Patterson now cutting off the cage beautifully. Oh, big shot into the double. Magomedov scores it. Patterson trying to get in on that ninja choke. Has a fantastic high elbow guillotine.
Incredibly quick guard pass there.
Needs to get the guard back.
Nice regard by the man from England.
All three of Patterson's submissions are by way of guillotine. Has a beautiful high elbow guillotine. We can't quite see if Magomedov has passed into side control. If that were the case, Patterson would need to let go of the neck. Fantastic first round, so evenly poised.
And I want to say, fantastic sportsmanship. Two are trying to knock each other out, tap each other out, put them to sleep.
Perhaps in the eyes of the judges, again, that's pure speculation from me.
Absolutely speculative for me, but I thought Camille Magomedov was the more aggressive fighter in this. Was he successful? Very rarely, but I did see him initiating a little bit more. I think it was a narrow 10-9.
Just as I say that, 4 times in a row, 5 times in a row, we're looking at the gut. Don't make it 6. 5 was enough. Happy days. Kick to the body, and then I think he went high to the head afterwards. Second round, here we go. Again, trying to cut off the cage, control the angles, using that range. Nice stiff jab.
Kick looked like it might have went just a little low, but maybe it didn't.
Patterson had shown no signs of it whatsoever. It's one of the most controversial techniques in modern mixed martial arts, that what Joe Rogan calls the oblique kick. Again, in on a takedown is Magomedov. Beautifully trips the leg. Patterson, just with those long limbs, can cut underneath that chin so well, trying to work for the guillotine.
Brave Nation, it's hard for me to convey how very, very cool Camille Magomedov's takedowns are. Against an opponent this tall, you have to start that takedown from way on the outside. It's extremely hard to get. He just got 2 in a row. Absolutely tremendous performance by him in this regard so far.
Now he's doing a good job of elevating the hips of Patterson. Patterson trying to get that leg free, get the guard, but almost using the head as a means of a whizzer. Patterson has to let it go, doesn't want to get his back taken in this position. Magomedov has 2 hooks in.
He's got 1 hook in so far. He's going to be looking for the second one, and there it was.
Beautiful, just got that in effortlessly.
Now comes the hip pressure. The legs are driven back, the hips drive down.
This is exactly where Magomedov wants to be. As we say, 12 wins by way of submission. 4 of them are by rear naked choke. Working desperately, he's gone pound-to-pound grip on it. Sam Patterson trying to fight the top hand. Again, trying to get underneath that chin in the half-guard position. Now Patterson doing a good job to stay calm.
Half-guard in MMA, when you're flat on your back and don't have an underhook, is basically just a half mount. It's a little bit better than being under bottom mount, but it's not a great position.
Patterson trying to get to a hit, but Magomedov just with that beautiful grappling, a BJJ brown belt in his own right. Patterson back to his feet, still has Magomedov on his back, turns in within the context of the fight. That's a little win for Sam Patterson. Is just so strong.
Once again, Phil, Sam is showing absolutely tremendous defense against takedowns, tremendous defense against submission attempts, but in mixed martial arts, it doesn't mean anything.
Magomedov Still pressuring Sam against the cage. Please be wary of the ninja choke here.
It may be.
Is that a high elbow? Is that a high elbow guillotine? Can't quite see. What a coup this would be for Sam Patterson. Magomedov looks calm here. But that looks tight, Carrick.
It does. I'm seeing a little change in color on Magomedov's face.
Magomedov gives the referee a thumbs up. This looks so tight.
Phil, speaking as a lanky guy, having long arms, it is a little easier to get those in place. It's just a little bit easier.
Oh, there's the tap! Unbelievable!
Believable!
Sam the Future Patterson with the biggest win in his mixed martial arts career becomes the first man to submit Kamil Magomedov, and now you know his name. Now you know who the rightful #1 contender is in the lightweight division.
The monster striker is also a monster submission artist. We've seen it before, but to see it again against a BJJ player at this high a level, my mind is just a little bit blown, Phil.
A beautiful technique. And there was no rush you could see from Sam Patterson. That was just beautiful technique from the start. Didn't rush it, just slowly, incrementally worked for the squeeze. Beautiful finish from the Englishman.
We've been talking about it all week, Phil. We've been talking about...
All right, Brave Nation, another amazing bout. This one comes to an end at 3 minutes and 21 seconds of the second round. Your winner, by guillotine, Sam the Future Patterson!
Sam Patterson, ladies.
Patterson!
Sam Patterson proving absolutely, definitely, that the Future has a future title shot coming up at lightweight in Brave Combat Federation. Green Hill replay is going to show you some of why. There's those long arms going over the head, cool as can be. Other hand comes up, the hands connect. This is an extremely tight guillotine. That one hand is forcing the other one up to the shoulder and forcing the opponent to tap.
That's just beautiful technique. His fourth win by way of submission, his fourth by way of guillotine. That high elbow is fantastic. And like he says, he's just made himself undeniable in the contest.
Rostov-on Don's finest, Artur Sviridov, a kickboxing prodigy, is ready to make his Brave CF debut as he takes on Ibrahim Mane, who owns 3 first-round finishes and 6 overall stoppage wins. Coming up next, Artur Sviridov takes on Ibrahim Kumite Mane in a super welterweight bout.
All right, Brave Nation, this is your Brave CF 55 and Pro FC main event of the evening. 3 5-minute rounds in the super welterweight division. Introducing your first warrior. Fighting out of the blue corner, this man's a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 8 wins and 4 losses. He stands 186 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 79.6 kilograms. Representing Mahmoudi Gym and fighting out of Paris, France, please welcome Ibrahim Kumite Mane! And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This man's a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 5 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. He stands 180 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 79.5 kilograms. Representing Paris Vet Fight Team and fighting out of Rostov-on-Don, Russia. Give it up for Artur Sviridov. Your referee is Yevgeny Olensevich.
Big thanks to Kaif Energy Drink. I've had 2 already because I love energy and because I love the taste of Kaif Energy Drink.
You ready?
Well, I think Arthur Severidov put the question to rest. Would he be intimidated by the atmosphere? He is thriving off it if the introductions are anything to go by. Big head kick attempted by Ibrahim Mane to start the fight. Oh, frenetic pace being started. These men are absolutely swinging leather at one another.
Phil, they're letting it go.
There's only a couple of hundred invited guests here at this event due to COVID restrictions, but they are making the sound of a couple of thousand here tonight. Nice leg kick from Ibrahim Mane, really chopping into the meat of the thigh. Nice duck under, but again, very close with the head kick was Ibrahim Mane.
Mane does a brilliant job of seeming like he wants to grapple. When you overcome what feels like a grappling attempt, he's got a kick waiting for you.
Already looks like a more evolved fighter than last time we saw him. Clearly, he's been putting the work in. At Mahmoudi Gym in Paris, France.
Mane, nice little shift into a side kick to the thigh.
Severidov yet to get going, is doing a good job of not getting hit, but he needs to start replying with a couple more strikes of his own. He does fight very well off the back foot. Perhaps he's trying to invite Ibrahim Mane onto a shot.
Brave Nation, one of the keys to knocking your opponent out is timing. By timing, I mean you need to throw the shot
Just as you
the
said
person
it.
comes in, and that's what we're seeing right here.
Mystic correct again, dropping knowledge. A hallmark of Severidov's fighting style is that he does skirt the outside. It's almost as if he's using that secondary outside black line as a marker. Oh, but a big shot there, returns with another big shot. Have we got the emergency services on top? Because this is a firefight. Both these men capable of finishing the fight with one shot.
Severidov largely using distance to protect himself. Mane moving that head a little bit, keeping that head just off the center line as he stalks forward.
Again, nice kick there from Ibrahim Mane. Swing and a miss, and literally that leg is like a baseball bat of Ibrahim Mane.
Mane throwing shots, but he's not doing them stupidly. Throws a single shot out. If he feels wrong, he slips out to the side. He's smarting. It may look like he's just letting his hands go. He's not. He's fighting very, very smart here.
Oh, beautiful timing from Ibrahim Mane, but Severidov sneaks out the back like a thief in the night. This is such a fun fight. If many of the fights tonight have been a feast for the senses of the grappling heavy fight fans.
Referee's going to stop. The fighter's thumb slipped out of the container. Referee's going to put it back in, and we're on.
And you have to give credit to Ibrahim Mane there. He was under no obligation to stop when Severidov motioned to the referee. It's up to the referee to call that. So real gentlemanly instinct there from Ibrahim Mane.
One of the many reasons, Phil, Brave Combat Federation is the best mixed martial arts organization in the world, is the sportsmanship and character that they have. That said, if fighters want to be jerks, they can be jerks.
Nice front kick landed there. Severidov, again, big shot over the top.
Big kick answered.
Again, it's almost nonchalant from Severidov, and then he just lands something to let you know that he's still there, ready and willing to land a big shot. Doesn't look like he's moving quickly, but he has such a good gauge of range and distance.
One of the characteristic setups that we see these Russians using is what I call playing possum. They'll hold back just a little bit, lower the hands just a little bit. Look like maybe they're not about to hurt you, and then they try and hurt you.
Big swing from Sviridov. Ibrahim Mane was able to evade. And like I said, if some of the previous fights that we've had tonight
what they want.
See a little recap of some of the action here. Spinning attacks from Sviridov, and they started off just slinging punches at each other. Both these fighters just centimeters away from connecting with each other.
Exactly, Phil. I wanted to say we're seeing absolutely tremendous offense here, and just as nicely we're seeing defense. These are beautiful shots set up and then thrown unexpectedly, and they're missing by an inch, half an inch.
Beautiful timing on that kick.
Accidental water bottle drop. As I've said, Phil, if you and I see officiating that we're not completely happy with, we don't bite our tongue. And I really, when I'm in a country where I see perfect officiating, I'm duty bound to say that too. These Russian officials are fantastic, and so's this fight.
Shout out to our own head of regulatory affairs, Mr. Decky Larkin. Unfortunately couldn't be here, but I'm sure he's watching and he's appreciating the standard of refereeing here. It's essentially a kickboxing match in MMA gloves, isn't it, Kieran? Great to watch. Again,
it is Phil, and Mane in particular is using threats of grappling to try to set up his kicks. He'll look like he's trying to go for a body lock. He might then, in theory, try and secure his hands together and sweep a leg out, reap a leg out. But I believe he's just waiting for his opponent to, quote-unquote, overcome that body lock when he throws a big kick.
It's another big kick, and he's really starting to focus in on that lead leg with push kicks just above the knee, with chopping leg kicks into the upper thigh. Now working the inside. There's another one of those push kicks. And as somebody with a fragile knee, that just makes me shudder.
Philly's got a little advantage here in terms of limb length, and he's using that to good advantage. He's staying just on the outside, and he's pot-shotting that leg now over and over from a relatively safe vantage point.
I don't know about that, Carrick, but his legs are definitely longer. Nice kick to the body from Ibrahim Mane.
Sviridov struggling just a little bit to overcome this difference in reach.
Just shy with the head kick. Again, the head movement of Mane, it may look like he was lucky to evade the shot, but it is mastery of head movement and distance control. Oh, big head kick. That landed clean. Sviridov just ate that. That was a huge head kick. Another one. Sviridov can definitely take a shot. Nice stiff jab again from Mane.
Part of a big headshot, Phil, does come from things you're born with, but the greater part of it, in my opinion, is conditioning. It's getting that neck strong, and it's getting your cardio endurance so your muscles don't have to go slack. Russian fighters train harder than any fighters I know, and I think that's the central root of this tremendous ability to take a shot that's straight in front of us.
Trying to land the big shot over the top. Switching stances as Ibrahim Mane trying to give his opponent different looks. Switching back into the orthodox stance. The problem when you have the style of Sviridov is that counter-striking, fighting on the back foot. Sometimes, unless you're getting your shots off, it can look to the judges like you're retreating a little bit, like you're not being offensive-minded enough. But you need a willing dance partner who will be offensive and push you back to get those counter shots off.
Very smart, I think, by Mane to not be stepping in there and going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 high kick. If that happened, he would give his opponent the time to land a potential knockout blow. But he's popping in, popping out, maintaining the distance he needs to, I think, pull ahead pretty handily in this round.
Mane Mane doing a good job of, as you say, Carrick, not diving in, not chasing down his opponent, picking his shots, accumulating the points, accumulating the damage. Obviously, he's done his research on Arthur. Oh, huge front kick to the face.
There's a benefit to landing all those low kicks. You land a low kick, your partner starts to think low. Oh, my calf hurts. Oh, that thigh hurts. Inner thigh hurts. And it makes landing that ball of the foot up to the chin that much easier.
The slap that came off that just cocked the head of Sviridov right back. Switching into southpaw, back to orthodox, constantly forcing his opponent to make different reads and adaptations in the fight. Front kick to the body this time. It's just the frequency and intelligence of his shot selection that's so impressive, Carrick. Oh, he tries to go up high again.
Again, Brave Nation, sometimes it's... Oh! Side kick was slipped. Big opportunity for Sviridov. Didn't come to fruition this time, and round 2 ends.
No touch of gloves at the end of the round there. All business until the very end of the fight for these gentlemen.
A bit longer limb length, stays on the outside and only chooses single shots. He isn't having much luck with it. Shades of Anderson Silva with that front snap kick right up the middle to the chin. That would right knock out a lesser fighter.
Right on the chin, cocks the head right back. Even Carlos Kramer sitting beside us is impressed with the strikes being thrown here. And that's a man who's seen more fights than most of us have had hot dinners to impress. A little bit more urgency from Sviridov. But when you have a particular fighting style that has worked for you so successfully, is it hard to break from that?
A little bit hard. He doesn't need to change it. He just needs to add to it a little bit. He just needs to add a little bit more forward and back movement. Same style, same waiting for the attack, same counter, but just don't let the opponent dictate the distance that the strike comes in from that you're going to counter.
He's already doing that. This is as central as we've seen him in the cage in the entirety of the fight. Once again, Carrick Janess says it, and it happens.
There he goes.
Ibrahim Mane showing his MMA IQ. Another front kick to the face. Charging forward this time. And instead of skipping out, Sviridov is maintaining the center of the cage here.
Sviridov, Phil, is now proving adept at not just slipping kicks, but slipping them to the side so the opponent's weight comes in. If it happens a third or a fourth time, that could give him the opportunity for the knockout shot he's clearly looking for.
Whereas he would have been skirting the outside of that black line for most of the fight, he's now staying in and around the periphery of that black line, more often than not inside it. Arthur trying to call Ibrahim on. Mane doesn't need to break from what he's doing. As far as he's concerned and his corner are concerned, probably winning the fight. So why would you take any kind of crazy risk?
Nice to see Sviridov showing a little initiation now, not simply trying to counter when he wants. Kick accidentally went just a little low. Referee's going to let it continue. No harm, no foul. You see Mane try to clinch again, wait for that right high kick that comes after it.
Nice work on the inside leg kick from Ibrahim Mane. As I say, potentially this is the best he's looked in his Brave career so far.
He's going to look to answer that, Phil. He's going to look to answer that with a hard blow of his own. When you try and land a big shot, that's, of course, when you're most vulnerable to eating a big shot in return. Little change in attitude here, potentially.
The halfway point of the third and final round in our co-main event here.
Mane shifting, stalking. Force Sviridov back in towards that gutter.
Oh, and now a little bit of phone box fighting. Don't think anything landed expressly clean for either man there. Again, Ibrahim Mane just adding points, money in the bank. Attacking that front leg. I'm surprised it's not more visibly compromised due to the amount of punishment it's taken. Big takedown.
Crowd goes wild.
Mane has a hold of that neck. Sviridov pops out.
Big choice for Sviridov here now. He's got to decide, does he rain down elbows or does he try and pass guard?
Ibrahim Mane trying to get in on a Kimura here. Not quite sure if it's intended as a submission or a means to
Can be a submission, can be a sweep, and can be a means to stand up. You're looking to use it to submit. It's a real thing right here.
Oh, and he's just trying to get
It's a real
angle.
thing. He's angled out, Phil.
Oh, he's
getting close.
He's cut the angle. Oh, he's so close to getting the angle he needs on this. Sviridov can of course grab his own shorts. He's not allowed to grab the shorts of Ibrahim Mane.
Hard to explain the danger, Brave Nation, but from that position, that upper arm, that humerus was close to breaking.
How calm is Ibrahim Mane? He's able to, in the middle of the cage, trying to work for a fight any submission, communicate to his corner, and that looks tight.
It's not quite there.
What is the arm of Sviridov made of? Oh, it's going to break the arm.
It's getting close, but it's not quite where it needs to be. He needs to pull that elbow down towards his chin.
Oh, wow. That is absolutely huge. The human arm is not constructed to bend that way.
That wasn't just where I stopped breathing. That was where my heart stops beating.
Fantastic heart from Arthur Sviridov, but is it a little bit too little too late at this stage of the fight?
Round ends.
All right, Brave Nation, what an incredible co-main event of the evening. Give it up for both of these warriors. After 3 incredible rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards. Your first judge scores about 29-29. Your next judge scores about 29-29. And your third judge scores about 29-29. We have a unanimous draw, ladies and gentlemen.
Brave Nation, that is a highly, highly, highly unusual score. Crowd seems very happy with it. Getting a little replay, courtesy of Green Hill, of some of the terrific action that we saw in that 29-29 bout. In the absence of a point deduction, it's extremely hard to get there, but I did work out the math. It can happen in theory, and it did happen in reality. Beautiful hook kick, little loss of the footing. Beautiful, that was certainly the kick of the night. Shades of Anderson Silva there. Front snap kick coming right up the middle. Getting a little replay, courtesy of Green Hill, of some of the terrific action that we saw in that 29-29 bout. In the absence of a point deduction, it's extremely hard to get there, but I did work out the math. It can happen in theory, and it did happen in reality. Beautiful hook kick, little loss of the footing. Beautiful, that was certainly the kick of the night. Shades of Anderson Silva there. Front snap kick coming right up the middle. And there it was from a different angle. Absolutely phenomenal kick to the chin. And there was that submission. This was the end of it. It came very, very close to breaking the arm, but obviously did not quite. And there, both fighters have their hands raised. Mane's face covered with a little bit of amazement. He thought, as he told Phil Campbell, Irish Thunder, he said, I thought I run rounds 1, 2, and 3. I'm not sure what happened, but what happened?
MMA legend Ali Bagautinov is one step away from fighting for a world title, and he's ready to leave it all in the cage when he takes on American flyweight star Sean Santella, a jiu-jitsu black belt with an astounding 14 submission victories to his name. Coming up next, the second flyweight tournament semifinal, as Ali Puncher King Bagautinov takes on Sean Shorty Rock Santella.
All right, Brave Nation, this next bout, our main event of 3 5-minute rounds for the semifinal of the Brave Combat Federation Flyweight Tournament. Let's meet our first warrior. Fighting out of the blue corner, this man's a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 23 wins, 7 losses, 2 draws, and 1 no contest. He stands 166 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 56.65 kilograms. Representing Nick Catan MMA and Driven Gym, and fighting out of Bud Lake, New Jersey, USA. Give it up for Sean Shorty Rock Santella. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a professional record of 21 wins and 7 losses. He stands 165 centimeters tall and weighs a ready 56.75 kilograms. Representing Krepos Fight Club and fighting out of Dagestan, Russia, please welcome Ali Puncher King Bagodino. For referee instructions, Armin Ananyan.
Fight center. Gentlemen, follow the rules, listen my comments. Protect yourself all time. Touch gloves. Back to corner.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Main event time. The semi-final of the Brave Combat Federation Flyweight Tournament. The winner will progress to fight Veli Murad Alkazov. And Carrick, being entirely honest, you're looking at 2 of the best flyweights in the world right now.
We are, Phil. I've been talking about how great Shorty Rock's leg locks are, but he's also got some nasty hands, nasty elbows, and nasty knees.
Russian Sambo and wrestling taking on the American nuanced Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu style of Shorty Rock. Who blinks first?
Circular movement from Shorty, very, very smart. Avoiding the takedowns, went in for a takedown of his own. If he's not successful, you may see him pull guard.
Oh, eats a big shot to the side of the head. And now Bagotinov with a big shot. Again, Shorty Rock trying to get in on a leg. Heavy, heavy sprawl from Bagotinov.
Huge props to Shorty Rock for trying to get a double.
Oh, huge elbow. Oh, that could be the end. Big shot.
This may be it, Phil.
Bagotinov, heavy, heavy ground
just
upon.
about to stop it. Ali Bagotinov.
Bagotinov is your second finalist.
The back of the head does vary a little bit from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. We're going to get a look right now. And our view, unfortunately, was obscured, but it does appear that that single downward spiking elbow was what it took to end this fight. What we cannot see is whether it landed in a legal area or an illegal area. That shot was after the damage from the elbow had already been done.
The back of the head is often referred to as the Chuck Liddell Mohawk. Again, our views on...
All right, Brave Nation, what a way to end our explosive, historic night. This comes to an end at 1 minute and 1 second of the first round. Your winner by TKO and advancing to the final, Russia versus Russia against Veli Murad Alkazov. Give it up for Ali